Tonight, I think we're good to get started.
Yeah, I think we're going to start today. Welcome, everyone that is joining us today for this presentation. My name is Maida Gonzalez-Bosch, and I have the pleasure today to be the moderator of this session together with my colleague, Veronica Gerosimo. We're going to be helping and we're going to be just participating in this fantastic presentation. The title of this presentation is Building a Great Community College Art Collection Across New Jersey. And we have 4 presenters today. Marilyn Kralik, Professor of Humanities and Islamic Civilization, Ocean County Community College. NJCU, Coordinator, Foundation Art Collection, Hudson Community College. Katie Sheridan, Interim Executive and Artistic Director, Bruning Center for Arts, Ocean Community College. And Kenneth Maliger, Director of Ocean Community College Foundation, Ocean County College. Welcome. The floor is yours, and we are looking forward to hear your presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of how this session is going to go. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to watch the amazing TED Talk that Andrea Siegel created. And then we are going to talk a little bit about Arts on Campus, which is something that started happening at Ocean County College. And then we're going to talk about how that moved and evolved into something that our own college foundation became interested in. And then we're going to have some time for questions and answers and basically just describe our experiences and what we're looking to do going forward. So let's get started with the TED Talk.
America's 936 public community colleges and other schools too can become dynamic community art museums. I am going to show you why and how. I'm Dr. Andrea Siegel, and I coordinate the Foundation Art Collection at Hudson County Community College in Jersey City, New Jersey. We're on the western side of the Hudson River, behind the Statue of Liberty. In 10 years, our collection has grown from 25 installed artworks to over 1,700 installed in 10 campus buildings. We did this on a budget of fumes. This Monet is not from our college. For what that Monet sold for, we could educate all 7,000 of our students for 2 years. The history of Western art collections is largely a story of plunder. Sotheby's and Christie's, the 2 great auction houses, started in 1700s Britain. James Christie offered rock-bottom prices to nobility who were fleeing the French Revolution. Sometimes he was at the battlefield offering cash. In the 1900s, predatory American robber barons who wanted the glamour of royalty sent art dealers to Europe to buy paintings and sculpture and at times whole chateaus. They packed them up and brought them to America. Countless collections have been destroyed and reformed since the Industrial Revolution and the democratic revolutions in France and Haiti and America in the 1700s. Right now, we're in a new Gilded Age. We see the super rich bidding up the art market and putting their modern plunder in tax haven storage units. Now, in contrast to this history, community college art collections can form public exhibits to benefit your community. Now, I became aware of community college art collections about 11 years ago. At the time, HCCC's president, Glenn Gabert, said my task was to turn the entire college's public areas into an educational art museum. He grew up around art, saw the benefit as a student and in his career, and he wanted other people, our students, to have that benefit. I had previously worked for a New York City gallery. I became aware of the fact that our annual budget was the equivalent of what we spent on one picture frame at my old job. Today, major American artists and important regional artists' work make up the college collection. Artwork is installed in thematic groups throughout campus, and each student goes through a curated gallery on the way to every class. Paintings, prints, photographs, and sculpture line corridors devoted to Hispanic art, Japanese art, abstract art, art about food, feminist art, etc., etc. These works reflect back to our community all its diverse beauty. Researchers Alice Anderson and Carlene Gardner at the University of Minnesota show that art fosters empathy and understanding. Many studies link empathy to positive social outcomes, reduced prejudice, decreased inequality, improved health. Now, most colleges keep art collections under lock and key in a dark storage area. Studies show that art does the most good, has the greatest social impact, where economic deprivation is greatest. When art is not in storage, it can be seen, it can be experienced, it can be discussed. 2 out of 3 of our college students get financial aid. At HCCC, we have a food pantry because our students in America don't have enough to eat. We have a closet full of free professional clothing because our students can't afford interview clothes. So like food and clothes, cultural resources count. Most of our students have not been introduced to fine art before. It's a big thing to offer people through art the cultural languages of different classes as they work toward a brighter future. Our artwork gets installed where students go. The work is seen, enjoyed, and learned from. That distinguishes our collection nationally, and it appeals to civic-minded donors. Here's how you start to build your collection. If you have no art, survey campus walls and spaces for possible installation. Map out available space. Dream big. I started with a one-page list of the works in the collection. I walked the campus to see how art was doing. I talked to staff and students. I learned if you put something up staff hates, it's going to mysteriously end up in a file cabinet. Now, the great American art collections were built by a small group. The Met had Morgan, the National Gallery had Mellon, and the Frick, my first day on the job, my boss tells me, "You got a job, go buy art." Oh yeah, and call Ben Deneen, he's on the foundation board. Good administrators know who the key donors are in the community. These donors get you started. So I called Ben. We meet at the diner. We sit down at the booth. He pulls out a fat business envelope and slides it across the table. I pick up the envelope and it's full of discount coupons for art framing. So I had found a soulmate in an appropriate art collecting kind of way. Ben would call and say, "Andrea, I'm driving by and I've got art in my trunk." This was in his trunk. So you need a Ben. You need one foundation board member or trustee who supports your project. Hundreds of works came through Ben and his partner Dennis and friends we met through them. Ben told me to draft a master plan. So I Googled college art collection master plans, and I took what worked. You find your mentors and they find you. Now, the federal work study program pays work study students salaries. It should pay more. But even so, you get intelligent help, students get work experience for the resume, and a dozen work study students, as well as many staff and over 120 donors helped with our project. There are over 7 million millionaires in America because baby boomers, those who are born between 1946 and 64, are aging. We are witnessing the largest transfer of wealth in our history, and that is your historic donation opportunity. Now, the IRS gives donors a great deduction if they give art away. Never ask artists to donate their own art. The IRS only lets the artists deduct the cost of materials. So I'm installing at the college library, and a librarian says to me, "What if I told you there was a group of local nuns who had taken a vow of silence? They're living in a stone castle, a monastery they designed themselves with 14-foot-high stone walls. What if I told you they made their living selling art?" I said, "I'm interested. I mean, why not? It's a great story, even if it's not true." Well, this is the wall. Thanks to the librarian and dozens of other donors he helped bring in, we have over 280 works by 20th century nun artists. From 1930 to 1990, the nuns of the Blue Chapel in Union City made their living selling art. The Nun Hall is one of our most popular exhibits. Art comes from everywhere. Our art department chair is out walking her dog. She runs into a friend walking a dog, and the friend is helping someone downsize. Those people who downsize gave us 78 works of art. You know, it's not magic. Building a community art collection takes hard work incorporating curiosity, research, kindness, patience, respect, and thank you notes. So there's a saying in the art world that only the 3 Ds make a real collector let go of art. That's death, debt, divorce. And I'd add disease, downsizing, dementia, disasters. People who make your collection great are often going through real trouble. Be prepared to listen and offer tissues. This is real work. Most of our collection is donated. Some art we buy directly from artists, galleries, cooperatives, art fairs, auctions, because some unique pieces we can't get any other way. Because you need to know fair market value to justify any proposed purchase to your committee, hire a coordinator who has fine arts appraisal experience or certification. Your college can buy works by major American artists for bupkis if you are careful. My favorite trick? Look for art in the wrong place. These Native American photogravures by Edward S. Curtis were in a contemporary art auction. We were the only people bidding. They joined the collection at a bargain price, $50 a pop, $100 a pop. If you have a list of artists that you're looking for, use the free bots at auction house aggregators like invaluable.com to tell you when the artist's work is coming to auction. The artwork has a top tier, Christie's, Sotheby's, and there are many great second and third tier auction houses. Use a search engine to get a list of the auction houses near you. Scour online catalogs using a free website like askart.com to find artists from your area so you can build a strong regional collection. No one was going to give us this brilliant work by Willie Cole. The few prints he made are in places like the Metropolitan Museum. When I saw it coming to auction, they'd spelled the artist's name wrong. So the bots would be telling collectors. When I looked in person, and you always look in person, they put the 3 pieces in different rooms. It was in great condition. Some places students go are never unlocked unless a supervisor is there. If you're fortunate enough to be an inner city school, you have security at every door. That benefit allows you great flexibility when displaying your collection. This sculpture sits unboxed, high on a wall, opposite a security desk that is always staffed. Booker's sculpture, made out of tires, has pride of place in admissions. When sharing your collection with the community, framing, plexiglass boxes, and installation are most of your costs. To cut costs, someone in authority is going to ask you, why not buy frames at Target or IKEA? And you have to tell them that acid in those frames destroys art. Hire a reputable framer who uses acid-free materials. When I began at the college, my boss said I had to put plexiglass boxes around every work. I thought this was bad because it puts a barrier up between people and art. In 10 plus years, not a single boxed work of art has been damaged. Find a local fabricator to build these affordably. If you're putting up art in a plexiglass box, you want the work to stay straight inside. Use brackets, that'll keep it straight, And likewise, you lock every piece to the wall. The whole kit costs you less than $3 a picture. At a college where I used to work, they hung a huge painting in a tiny conference room. Every time you stood up, your chair damaged the painting. Hang your art safely, no direct sunlight, far from heaters. Thematic groups have real power. For example, your area has local history that includes Indigenous people. Students and community find this important because it is. A student turned to me and said about this picture, "My family's from there. This could be one of my relatives." Hardworking staff may get angry when they see beautiful, important work on campus. They may think art is a luxury the institution cannot afford. Part of your job involves gentle reminders to faculty, staff, and administrators. Most art is donated. Every cent we use to buy art is donated. This does not come out of the college budget. And be prepared to tell administrators, if your walls are bare, buy a poster. Fine art goes in public space. Someone will claim that the art in public areas is harassing them. This is a Title IX issue and you need to be prepared for it. For example, we have a statement at the entrance of our online art collection that says, "We uphold the constitutional right to free speech." They enter the website knowing they will see controversial art. The ongoing support of your college and foundation makes your art collection possible. Don't forget to thank them. Remember that Monet I showed you early on? The young woman on the right holding the painting is Yamilka Garcia, a former Hudson County Community College Federal Work Study student. Since completing her associate's degree at HCCC, she's working full-time as an art handler at Sotheby's and earning her degree in art history at Hunter College. Yamilka's exposure to and work with the college art collection helped her find a career path and fulfill her dreams. If you have further questions about creating a community art collection, please contact me through the college website. I'm here to help, and I want you to succeed. Thank you, and best of luck building your collection.
Every time I see that, I'm inspired. And I'll just say my little part of this. Andrea wrote to, I guess, every community college in New Jersey offering her help. And I immediately responded, especially after looking at the TED Talk and messing around with her webpage, which we also have a link to. I just can't believe that the generosity of her intellect and her willingness to share this may, in fact, reach across all of New Jersey. But we're going to just start with Ocean County College. So it's kind of all I wanted to say. But the people that I forwarded Andrea's message to was Heidi, who at the time was the Dean of Fine Arts. She has since been upped and promoted and away, but still even more involved with the arts. And Ken Malagier, who's the head of our foundation. And they were, I think, instantly just as enthusiastic as I was. So that's what I basically wanted to say. But isn't that a fabulous TED Talk?
Thank you. Okay, so I can talk a little bit about arts on campus and how this completely ties into it. So you're going to laugh, Andrew, when you hear this. So Professor Renata Pustiak, she's our graphic design professor here on campus. She proposed the arts on campus idea way back in 2014. And this was the sort of statement that she said that she had in her proposal. So I'm quoting: "By establishing a visual arts on campus initiative focused on locating and developing areas on campus that act as gallery space, OCC will encourage students to explore their creativity and learn about art. By displaying student, faculty, alumni, and eventually New Jersey artists' artwork, we will be recognizing and praising the many members of the OCC community and New Jersey, and of course, beyond. Significant learning and entertainment will take place for all community groups, and OCC can expand its role of being a cultural center for the broader community. Arts on Campus will build community, embrace diversity, promote civility, and empower the students, scholars, and educators and audiences and advocates who will shape the future of our college. So you could see how that, it's almost like ties right into what you were talking about, Andrea. And what happened is, I just wanted to share a little bit of the scope. So again, Professor Pustiak, our graphic design professor here, who's, her background was in architecture. She knows 6 languages. She spends time each summer on her vacation checking out pieces of art in Europe. So she's a very interesting character. And so she created that proposal, and I just read a part of it in 2014. And then the foundation, of course, who Kenny here will be speaking about in a second, held the first Arts on Campus event as a fundraiser. It included student work from our fine art students, our graphic design students, the 2-dimensional design classes, and our photography students. Later, the graphic design students showcased 2 exhibits in the library that were thematic. One had to do with guns. And then there was a beautiful photography exhibit on the 2nd floor of our student center. We had a big celebration for the photography students, and our OCC jazz band played. Then in 2018, we expanded to start really doing what Andrea has done in the buildings. So we have now got student art in the instruction building, in the security building, in the WPE building, the Grennan Center, the tech building, and 1 floor of the student center. So we have quite a bit of student art, not totally covering everything, but in some places. Luckily for us, we have quite a bit of space still around campus. And that's where I kind of hand it over to Kenny, because he can talk about what we did then. So we heard about this idea, and then we decided to go on our little tour. Unless you wanted me to talk more about Arts on Campus, I can.
Well, I think just briefly, thank you for that introduction, Heidi. And one of our foundation's goals, of course, we support the college, but it's also our mission to bring opportunities of cultural and educational value to our entire community. And this is just so hand in glove with that, and found an opportunity in this, and what Andrea has started at Hudson in complementing the beautiful work of what our students have created. This is certainly not intended to be a replacement of that. It is just rather to lift that up and give our students an opportunity to be displayed, in fact, alongside very successful and prominent artists in their own right. So I think that a project like this just elevates not only the student work, but the prestige of the institution, and any institution certainly that has a commitment to the fine arts. So what we did was we created a curation committee here with a lot of interested folks that have an interest in art, folks that are just generally interested in the success of the college and of the foundation. And we were very fortunate to have quite a few of them actually volunteer to be part of our committee. So we've just made a start a couple of months ago with our first walkthrough around campus. As Heidi mentioned, we have a lovely campus here. We're very fortunate at Ocean. We have over 225 lightly wooded acres with many, many buildings and beautiful outdoor spaces. So a lot of the folks on the brief tour were commenting about how beautiful it would be to also embrace sculptural art that could be placed out of doors, that would be tactile. Folks can walk through it or on it or over it, or and enjoy it even from a distance. So so a lot of opportunities came from this idea that we attribute to Andrea and her wonderful work and all that her and her team are doing at Hudson. So at Ocean, we're in the infancy stage here. We have our committee together. We've done our walkthrough. The scope and scale is now becoming apparent to us. So we are really excited to make a start here. We've already been offered a few pieces. Marilyn's already received several emails of interested parties, as Andrea mentioned in the TED Talk, and I'm sure she'll mention today. As soon as you say such things and put it out into the universe, it seems to fall like manna from heaven. So in any event, I'll shut up now and turn it over to Andrea or Marilyn, or if any of our guests who are with us, either facilitators or others, have any questions for our next steps. I think we'd be able to, we're happy to answer them as best as we are able.
So Karen and Sabrina, I don't know you. So tell me, where are you from and what is your college doing? Oh, Karen, you're unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Karen Gargone. I am an instructor of humanities at Ocean County College. I work pretty closely with Heidi Sheridan and Marilyn Krelick and Ken. And it's wonderful to hear them talk. And I was, my main area of art is music. And I just want to say how supportive everyone has been of the music program at OCC, which we've been trying to develop aggressively in the past few years. And this has included the purchase of an amazing new Berzendorfer Imperial Grand Piano that fell from heaven, basically, that we've been able to purchase new music instruments and most excitedly keep our students going through a pandemic, which took its toll on the performing arts. But our numbers are good, and just all the support, you know, just aside from the visual art, the musical arts as well are a very supported area, and of course need to go public. And we're celebrating the fact that we can now perform live again. And we've had students perform all over campus. So the external exposure in the community and internal exposure within the college is just another way of spreading our investment, in the arts. And what is happening on the college campus hopefully will trickle down more into the community. And I think the community is also giving to the college. So we have a great sort of mutual beneficial relationship. Just as you said, Andrea, you'd be surprised what is available and what's out there if you just look a little bit and have the passion for it.
One of the things that we did here pre-pandemic, which was really terrific, is we reached out to students who did poetry and spoken word and music performances, and I had them come in and choose art they wanted to backdrop their performances. So we had this really nice, and the Student Center, really nice collaborations of art collection. And the great thing about the students is they'll choose the toughest stuff that you don't even dare put out, and they background it, and everybody, they integrate it into their work. So bringing in the students with the music and whatever art you have on campus, and even situating performances around where our artworks are, can be really wonderful and fruitful. So yeah, Karen, I'm right with you on what you're doing.
Some of the concerts that we gave this past year, the past couple of years, have been pre-pandemic and post-pandemic now, as we've been getting out more in person, have been in gallery spaces, and that's very effective. So we're trying to get out of the typical classroom recital room setting too.
Sounds great. Sabrina, what's your take? And we don't mind if you have messy hair. It's really okay. We all support messy hair. Are you gone? She might be gone. There you are.
I'm not gone, and I do appreciate that you're messy hair friendly.
Oh my God, like I'm in solidarity. So tell us about what you're doing, where you are. Or
So
what's going on?
I'm a faculty member at Brookdale Community College in Monmouth County, although I live in Ocean County. So I am very much attached to what is going on at Ocean County College and very interested in opportunities there to engage the community, things in particular that I could, have my son appreciate as well. So I'm still very tied to Ocean as well as some of my colleagues there. So at Brookdale, I teach mostly our undecided students. I'm in charge of our liberal arts program, and I also teach for our communication and media studies program. But I fancy myself personally a bit of an artist, so this is just of particular interest to me, although I'm not directly involved with those departments on campus, but I direct a lot of our undecided students to the arts. So it's really interesting to hear how many students are interested in visual arts, music, theater, but who have been discouraged from pursuing those majors because they quote unquote don't make money. And I think it is really important that we expose those students and encourage them and talk to them about ways to make money in a very practical sense, what the business end of the arts looks like. I've had a lot of students, because Brookdale has a museum that is located on the campus. Monmouth County has a museum there. So I've talked to a lot of students about going over there and talking about careers for museums and what curation looks like and what it looks like to restore art and all these other angles that they can, really delve into. So, but a lot of that comes from just my own personal interest. And of course, having worked with these wonderful people too. So thank you for asking, and I'm going to turn back off the hair.
So folks, should we brainstorm? What can we do to make this the last few minutes we have? We have 12 left. Is there something I can do to support you folks, or what's going on? Like, what can we do?
We can talk about the presentation. I have to say I was amazed about the presentation. My major is not art, but my daughter is always in love with art. I'm health professions, and I always was expecting to have health professions kids, but they don't like health professions. My daughter is in love with art, and she is in love with digital design. And what you were mentioning, Andrea, and what you're doing at Hudson, oh my goodness, I was just seeing your video, and I was like, oh my goodness, so small ideas that sometimes we are not even thinking that this can work and can help students and new generations to learn about these topics. It's extremely expensive to have all this art. And I was just like thinking, oh my goodness, what a great idea. I'm working personally, I'm working at Bergen Community College. I'm the Associate Dean of Health Professions, then is out of topic, but I will love to share your experience and your information, Andrea, with my people at Bergen, because I think this will be fantastic. Just the networking connection between the community college in this area is just a plus for everyone. I think it's just great what you're doing with Ocean and Haiti and Ken and Marilyn. I think is fantastic. If all the community college can do the same thing and can follow that model, I think you can just grow in the community, and I think it's great. I just want to share that because I was amazed when I was seeing the video. I love it. I really love it, and I want to share that with my people at Bergen.
Thanks, Maida. The person to contact, Bergen's already working on it. I'm working with them. The person to contact is Ron Miller. He's the head of
Ron,
information.
yes.
And they're taking it really seriously, and they're really moving forward on that. There's 4 community colleges in Jersey that are really moving. Yours, Ocean, County College of Morris, and Camden. And so I just want to let you folks know, and I'm happy to link you up. The thing we have that many other states don't have is we are one step away from the center of the art world. So as we prepare our students to launch, we can launch them as we have here into some of the best jobs in the nation in art. So yeah, anything I can do to support Maida, if you want to move forward, I'm happy to do that. And when you mentioned expensive, most everything is donated. We're not looking at money. I mean, my salary is embarrassing. I mean, I'm a part-time worker hourly, making pennies or peanuts an hour. I have another job to support this job, right? It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be really affordable, and the results can be stupendous. I mean, Veronica works in a building at our campus. When she's not working on a PhD full-time, she's working in a full-time job and God knows what else. And her building is all full of student art. It's the student center. And we've got, by the way, Veronica, we've got a bunch of stuff at the Framer from the last few years. It's coming.
I'm ready.
But yeah, it's just everything we're talking about is so doable. So with regard to Brookdale, Sabrina, I'd love to know who's there and I'd love to know who I can bug to try to get this going there too. Because I'm sort of relentless. Anyway, what, Marilyn?
I was going to say we might be able to have a small statewide gathering at some point. We're still at our early stages, but it sounds like you've got about a third of the community colleges
Right.
involved.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to ask Veronica, if you would put up the webpage now so that people can see, I asked them to do that for you, Andrea, just to show your webpage with the how people can access the art. Can we still talk over that?
Yeah,
If it's on-
Veronica, do you want me to share my screen? Because I can pop it if you want. Or do you want to do it?
Whichever. I'm pulling it up. I didn't have it open. Give me 1 second. All right, I can show it while you're talking. And I also want to share, being at Hudson, I feel extremely honored to walk across, all these curated, which I find myself to be like a curator at heart. I find so much joy in like how things are displayed and grouped together. And Andrea, even though I knew that each hallway was like specifically curated, once you said it, I was like, yeah, like even though it's every hallway, every space is so thoughtful, and it feels so lucky to be able to walk around those spaces all the time. And I'll just share a little bit. And how we're able to work together. I'm the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, and we work together with Andrea, of course, as was mentioned in our student center, which was recently opened up. We have all student art and Andrea works to bring in student art into the foundation collection every year. And actually we've been talking with our art professors and digital art professors try to have a digital art display in our student center too. So hopefully we can open that up. But we do work together with almost every commemorative cultural month to have a walking tour, both the on-campus walking tour. So you have the Andrea puts together a fantastic guided tour booklet that we have available in our public spaces for Black History Month and Women's History Month and so on. And always looking for more collections to put together. And then also we direct them to this website so that they have a virtual walking tour as well. So we always try to think outside the box of way, making art more accessible to students if they maybe didn't realize. I hope they realize the art is around them and specially curated, but also to be able to give it to them in collections. I think it's also a really fun way to help celebrate. And when we talk about partnerships, I think it's a really fun partnership between our Student Life Office and the Foundation Art Collection.
Yes, Veronica does a terrific job. But Veronica, if you go up to the left, just so people can see, there's a column that says below message. It says, it just keeps scrolling down a little bit. If you go down to collection, click on that, you can search the collection. You can search all the abstract art, all the African-American art, all the drawing, all the art about food, all the art about animals. You can search by media. You can search for all the sculpture. You can search. So I just want you to have an awareness. And there are other pages in front of this so that students who are looking to find something, oh, there it is. So if you scroll down a little bit, sweetheart.
Yes. On this page, or I just wanted to pop
just
that
keep
in the
going
chat.
down this page is fine. There's
Sure.
one ahead of that. You can search by media, by subject matter, by the geographical origin of the artist. You can search by gender. We don't have anything of indeterminate gender, but it's coming like everything else. And then could you go back, even back out one more page to the
To this one, or
the cover? No, you keep
Oh.
going out. Just Foundation Art Collection. That should pop
yes.
it up. Does that pop up?
this one?
There it is.
Mhm.
Now, if you scroll down to that one, there's the collections, there's about donations, that we've already been in, about donors and how to make a donation. And if you keep going down, that's a video about a donor who was marvelous. But if you keep going down, we have guides so people can walk their way through the whole collection. If they're interested in African art or they're interested in whatever they're interested in, we'll make a guide for you. So I just wanted to give you a sense of the richness of the online offerings. And again, this wasn't costly. It didn't cost us anything. I mean, it took me time to organize it, but then you just, pop it up and it's done. So I just wanted to let people know about that if it's helpful at all.
Wouldn't it be great if that could be expanded to include music in media, and then you can place recordings in there, you know, just to keep
Brilliant.
that
That's
music.
brilliant. That is so brilliant.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to talk with the library about that. That's a great idea.
And really make it all kinds of music, not just, you know, the type that's easy to hear, but just like, you know, just like visual art, things that could be controversial, sounds that maybe are not so easy on the ear and make a person think, you know.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, based, just jumping from what you said, if we have dance or visual performances, wouldn't it be interesting to link that
Absolutely.
on our website? I mean, we could create something sort of mega rich out of that. Great idea, Karen.
Because once you use that word art, that encompasses so much. It's such a rich 3-letter word, you know, and music is dance, theater, you know. Also, I loved your freedom of speech. I'm thinking of putting a statement. I might use your statement as a model for our recitals, because sometimes I put a disclaimer on our on our recital programs, because we get some original compositions that will, you know, raise a brow, just like looking at a piece of visual art would. But I love your freedom of speech, and I think I might do something like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That's from that's stolen, and I give them credit, from the National Coalition Against Censorship, and they give permission to use the language. So you're welcome to go to them and go to their website and see. We tweaked it a little for our purposes, but you're welcome to go. National Coalition Against Censorship.
Thank you. Got it.
We have real problems, or I experience them as problems. We should look at them as growth opportunities, from people who viewed some of the most famous works of art in our collection as harassing them. And so we had to develop a counter strategy. And I wanted people who are starting out to already have the strategy in place and expect people to object to things that by no stretch of the imagination could ever be conceived of as objectionable, but oh well.
Yeah.
And even the stuff that is kind of, we have some stuff that's pretty far out there. Yeah. So I'm sorry, we have to stop.
I'm sorry, I have to say, when the conversation is interesting and we have people in a room that have a passion for a specific topic, time flies. It's 12:44. Unbelievable. And you did a great presentation. I am blessed to have the opportunity to see your video, Andrea, and I'm amazed with the website as well. Excellent presentation. Carrying idea is fantastic, because music and dance, just a whole combination of art will be, it's not my area, but I love art and I love everything like music, dance. Then that's a great presentation. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Heidi. Thank you, Ken. Thank you,
Thanks, Laura.
Marlene. And thank you everyone that participated today, Sabrina, because I think today I was learning a lot. And I think when you spend 45 minutes and you learn, that's a plus. Thank you very much for this fantastic presentation.
Absolutely. Enjoy the balance of your day. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful.
Bye-bye.